What's good, everyone? This your main correspondent, Alan Taylor, and I'm back in the broadcast room. And this is where we at. As you can clearly see the title of the broadcast, should, if a father finds out, or a man, whatever, finds out that the child isn't his, should he walk away? Now, these are going to be, of course, these new discussions and things like that. Of course, the topic of or the thought process was as well. It's, should DNA tests be mandatory at birth and things like that. These are things that, of course, run across the internet and things like that. Now, we're gonna see what this lady here has to say about a situation or scenario, maybe somebody she knows. We're gonna find out what she's thinking on this topic right here. Let's go here now. Quarters, nickels, and dimes, people.
How can a man walk away from a child that he has been raising for 3, 5, 10, 15 years simply because the DNA test shows that he's not the biological father? Hear me out here. I'm not being insensitive. I know that his world has just been turned upside down. I know he feels betrayed. He's devastated. I empathize. I sympathize with his predicament. However, how is one able to walk away from a child that one has bonded with, loved, nurtured, poured blood and sweat into, simply because the DNA test shows that you're not the biological father? I understand getting rid of the wife or the girlfriend. The word I actually want to use starts with a W and rhymes with sure. Get rid of the W. But the children or the child, the innocent child, it is flummoxing to me. Now, I'm not a man, and I do not know how this impacts men. I also know that there's deep shame. But were I in that predicament, of course I would be devastated. I'd be hurt and betrayed. But then I'd let the children know or the child know.
Okay, now to speak on what she's trying to say, of course she's not a man, so she wouldn't know jack shit about how that feels.
So what the French toast is there to think about?
Regardless of what, women always know that the child is theirs, unless by some crazy scenario that the child gets mixed up in the delivery room or in the, in the hospital or something like that. Those, I don't know those stats, but I don't think that just happens very often. So this is the thing here. Now she's laying out the fact, yes, she may have a little sympathy and things like that, but she's not understanding the dynamics of what men will go through, dealing with that. It's a lot that runs through a man's mind, his financial situation, his emotional situation. Yes, men, we do have emotions. We do care about our children and also our wives and things like that. We do give a damn. But in this particular scenario here, yes, it will be a lot that's running through that man's mind. And to have to look at that child every day and be reminded of that it's going to be very hurtful. Like she's expecting the man to just, get over it like immediately, like he find out that day and, oh, well, I guess, well, all right, let's just keep it moving. Nah, that's not, it don't work that way. It don't work that way. Men have thought processes and we have to process things, and we have to do it in our own time. And nobody's going to move a man like you could barely move a mountain. Nobody's going to move a man off his square when he has to process certain horrific situations like this. Let's keep going here.
You may not be my biological child, but you're still my child. I love you. You're my child in my heart. I've bonded with you. I've raised you. So nothing changes. Now, I know a lot of men worry about, oh, then I have to continue paying I have to pay child support now that we're not together. So what? I'd pay the child support. Because you know what? Even though everything has changed, nothing should have changed because it's still the child that I raised, bonded with, and loved.
It's always funny to me how a woman always trying to tell a man how to deal with his own pockets.
So what the French toast is there to think about?
It's funny. It is very funny. Hold on here.
Bitch, you're a Dorito. You was never chose. You're a Dorito, bitch. And you're mad that you're not chose. And you never will be chose.
It's very funny. She's talking like she's talking like she's trying to think like a man. Like I would pay the child support. I would da. No, you would not. No, you would not. No, you would not. As a man, no. To find out something like that, you want to try to escape the situation as quickly as possible before you either lose your mind, crash out, stuff like that, which I don't suggest no man do. Don't do that. It's never worth it. It's never worth it. But you as a man, you would need time to yourself. Like I say, to process that shit. It's just not, you're just not gonna hear that news like that and then process it within 5 seconds and be like, oh, I'm okay with it now. No. It's gonna take some time to process that information that she been out here wilding out and bringing you home another man's bad blood.
So what the French toast is gonna think about?
Yeah, I said it. And I know a lot of folks don't like that term, right? Bad blood. Yes, bringing home another man's bad blood. Yeah, I know y'all triggered out there with that shit. Hold on. But it is what it is, though. Nah, man. I get so sick of women trying to tell men what they need to do with their time, energy, money, and attention. It's crazy out here.
And in an attempt not to pay child support, one ends up cutting off one's nose to spite one's face. Because you got to look at the big picture, the relationship with that child, the continued relationship, and the ability to go ahead and raise and nurture that child because you already have that bonded relationship. But once again, because I'm not a man, I do not understand how anybody can walk away from a child. Story time. My husband had a boss about 20 years ago. This gentleman's son had some medical issues. And to make a long story short, he found out that his 19-year-old son was not his biological child.
It's okay. Scenario, point proof right here. Point proof. What she said about her husband, boss, whatever. You find out that your child gets sick, almost gravely ill, with a serious medical condition. They go into the hospital, may need blood or heart or kidney or something like that, and they run the test. And this child's life is on the line. And the test come back that you're not the father. And of course, all hell would break loose then. What are you talking about? In the middle of also this child being sick. Now you got to think about this. How can these women just allow this situation to go on? Because a lot of women don't think far ahead like this. A lot of women don't think about scenarios like this. What if that child does get sick and they need the biological parents to help them? They need the biological parents, kidney or blood or something like that. You mean to tell me these women out here be playing these type of silly ass games and stuff like that? And when scenarios like this pop off, everybody want to look at the city like, oh, I don't know what's happening. Be dead in the hospital. She dead to wrong up in the hospital. I don't know how this happened. You are the father. I can't believe the test is wrong. The test is wrong. No, bitch, you wrong. The test is not wrong. And now the child is gravely ill and needs the biological parents to help them in a illness and a sickness or kidney, whatever. And you out here being dumb and bat 20 years ago or 19 years ago or 15 years. Man, come on, bro.
Needless to say, he was devastated. But you know what? He had raised this child for 19 years, was paying for college. This was his son, and he was not going to let him go. And my heart broke for him, but I was so proud of this man because he did not walk away from his child. And I think at times some men might think walking away from the child is a way to punish the woman for her betrayal. But at the
Oh Lord, it ain't about punishing the woman at that point. At that point, it's about you need a break from a break from everybody. You need time to think.
End of the day, the person you're hurting is the child. And I can't help but wonder, won't you be traumatized as a person walking away from someone that you've bonded with, that you've loved? For the man, isn't that traumatic? I mean, I really do not understand. I just cannot relate. And once again, I'm not a man. I'm sensitive to the hurt, to the pain, to the betrayal. But is it right to walk away from a child you've bonded with simply because the DNA test shows that you're not the biological father?
So, and this is where we at here, people. Now, she said that, of course, the child is the one that's been hurt in the situation. But yeah, you have to take that up with the mother. You have to take that up with the mother. All I'm hearing now is, the man needs to take accountability for this whole scenario. That's it. I'm not hearing, now she's claiming to have sympathy for the man because yes, his life is destroyed and things like that. And what makes you think you want to be around a person that destroyed your life? Now, you're not the father of the child. So the child is going with the mother wherever it goes. Like, it's you don't have legal right to that child. You're not the father of the child. So you're still going to have to deal with the mother. And she talk about, well, yeah, get rid of the mother. How are you going to do that if the child is still attached to the mother? What is she talking about?
So what the French toast is going to think about?
Listen, baby, you got to think this all the way through. You got to think this all the way through. The child is not his. Now, if he still wants to be in the child's life, he still has to deal with the mother. That's even if she's going to allow it to go on. Because at that point, when she get found out, she probably going to get bitter and start trying to blame him, or, well, it was your fault, the reason why I stepped out. Now, man, get the fuck out of here. When you need to be blaming that ratchet broad because she screwed up and now the child got a illness or something going on or something's happening, or either, just, push come to shove and the truth came to light. Now everybody want to look at the man like you still needs to take care of the kid, man. Stop it.
So what the French toast is going to think about?
Man, get out of here. But it is what it is, though. Shout out to all my subscribers. Mad love to y'all. If you're new to the channel, please hit that like, share, subscribe button. Make sure you ring that bell to be notified whenever I decide to post things. And like I always say,
and that, my friends, is the bottom line.
That, my friends, is the bottom line.